Welcome to the annual performance of the New You Circus, where the only thing getting thinner is your wallet. If you're watching this in January, congratulations. You've likely already been targeted by an algorithm that knows your insecurities better than your therapist does. Every year, around 40% of the population makes a resolution, and the global fitness and wellness industry collectively licks its chops like a wolf outside a sheepfold. I love the smell of fresh hope in the morning. It smells like unearned subscription revenue. Here is the lie. Society tells you that January 1st is a mystical temporal gateway where your past failures are deleted and a new you is born through the power of a credit card transaction. Buy the shoes, join the club, drink the green sludge, and the discipline will follow. The promise? I'm going to prove to you, using cold, hard numbers and a little thing called the false hope syndrome, that the New Year's resolution economy is a mathematically optimized trap designed to monetize your guilt, not your health. By the end of this, you'll realize that your aspirational spending is actually a voluntary tax on a person who doesn't exist. Why do multi-billion-dollar corporations pray that you never actually show up to the gym? Let's look at the balance sheet of your broken promises. The trap isn't just clever marketing. It's a masterclass in behavioral psychology. Marketers exploit what researchers call temporal landmarks. We view the new year as a clean slate, a mental reset button. It's the same reason we start diets on Mondays and not on a random Thursday afternoon after a mediocre tuna sandwich. We want to distance ourselves from the version of us that ate an entire family-sized bag of chips while watching Netflix. Brands know that in January, you aren't buying a product, you're buying an identity. You aren't buying a $100 yoga mat, you're buying the version of yourself that actually does yoga. It's like buying a tuxedo and assuming it'll automatically make you look like James Bond, rather than just a guy who spent too much money to look like a confused waiter. The system is designed to validate your desire for change while making the barrier to entry just high enough to feel meaningful but low enough to execute in a moment of weakness. This is why gym sign-up fees are waived in January. They don't want your $50 initiation fee. They want your $60 monthly fee for the next 12 months while you sit on your couch in March wondering why you're still paying for a place that smells like stale sweat and broken dreams. You feel productive just by signing up. The dopamine hit comes from the purchase, not the workout. It's productive procrastination at its finest. I'm guilty of it too. I once bought a sophisticated language learning software because I wanted to be the guy who speaks Italian. But 3 months later, the only Italian I knew was the name of the pizza I ordered while the software gathered digital dust. Let's look at the hidden math of the aspiration tax. This is where the industry's secret sauce is cooked. Scenario A is the standard resolutionist. In January, you sign up for a mid-tier gym at $60 a month. You feel the new year energy, so you buy $200 worth of new gear because apparently you can't lift heavy things in an old t-shirt. You also grab a $50 a month supplement stack and a $15 a month habit tracking app. Total upfront cost, $325. For the first 3 weeks, you go 4 times a week. Your cost per visit is a respectable $27. But then February hits. The fresh start effect wears off. You go twice a week. By March, you're down to once a week. By April, you've stopped going entirely, but the quitter's dilemma kicks in. You don't cancel because canceling feels like admitting defeat. It feels like telling the world I've given up on being a better person. So you keep paying. By the end of the year, you've spent $720 on the membership, $600 on supplements you mostly forgot to take, $180 on the app, and that $200 on gear. Total, $1,700. If you actually attended the gym 30 times all year, your real cost per visit is $56.66. You're essentially paying for a luxury spa treatment every time you go to pick up a dumbbell. Now, look at scenario B, the cynical realist. This person knows that motivation is a fickle mistress who leaves you for a younger, hotter person the moment things get difficult. Instead of a membership, they buy a $40 set of resistance bands and a $20 kettlebell. They use free YouTube videos. Their aspiration tax is zero. If they stop working out in March, they've lost $60, not $1,700. The industry relies on scenario A. In fact, if every person who had a gym membership actually showed up on a Tuesday evening in February, the building would literally violate fire codes. The business model of the budget gym is built on the mathematical certainty that 60 to 80% of members will be ghosts by March. You aren't the customer. You are the donor. You're subsidizing the workouts of the 5% of people who actually show up and use the equipment. You're basically a philanthropist for meatheads. Think about Toby. Toby is 29, works in marketing, and feels stuck. On December 31st, Toby decides this is his year. He signs up for a premium transformation program that costs $150 a month. It includes a meal plan, an app, and community support. He buys the $120 shoes. He spends $80 on a fancy blender for his morning smoothies. Toby is high on false hope. In the first week of January, he's a beast. He's meal prepping. He's posting gym selfies with captions about grind sets. But Toby hasn't addressed the underlying psychology. He still hates waking up early. He still finds broccoli depressing. He still has a high-stress job that drains his willpower by 4 p.m. By mid-February, he misses a session, then two. The what the heck effect kicks in, a psychological phenomenon where once you've deviated from a strict plan, you figure you might as well abandon the whole thing. By March, Toby is back to his old habits, but the $150 is still leaving his account. Toby is now paying a guilt premium. He thinks, I'll get back to it next week, and that thought is worth $150 to the gym's shareholders. The industry doesn't want you to fail. They just want you to stay in the limbo of intent. They want you to be about to start. A person who's about to start is the most profitable demographic on earth because they consume the most and utilize the least. It's like me and my collection of unread intellectual books. I bought them to feel smart, but all they do is provide a very expensive pedestal for my coffee mug. The reality check is this: you cannot buy your way out of a psychological hurdle. If you wouldn't walk for 20 minutes on a random Tuesday in October, a $2,000 Peloton isn't going to turn you into an Olympic cyclist in January. It's just going to become the world's most expensive clothes horse. Brands monetize your insecurities by selling you the solution before you've even identified the problem. The problem isn't that you don't have a gym membership. The problem is that your environment and habits are designed for comfort, not challenge. If you actually want to change, your first move should be free. If you can't commit to doing 10 push-ups every morning for 30 days in your pajamas, you have no business buying a gym membership. The financial commitment doesn't create discipline. It just creates a sunk cost fallacy that breeds resentment. The actionable alternative is adopt the mercenary mindset. Stop viewing health and self-improvement as an event triggered by a calendar date. Treat it like a boring utility bill. You don't get excited to pay your water bill. You just do it so your house doesn't smell. Stop looking for motivation and start looking for frictionless habits. Instead of joining a gym 20 minutes away, do something that takes 5 minutes at home. Instead of a $100 meal kit, just stop buying the cookies that you know you'll eat at midnight. The goal is to lower the cost of failure. If your new you plan requires a perfect alignment of the stars, a $200 outfit, and a 6 a.m. wake-up call, you're going to fail, and there's a multi-billion-dollar economy waiting to catch your fall and your wallet. In summary, the New Year's resolution economy is a giant machine that converts your temporary guilt into permanent corporate revenue. Stop paying the aspiration tax for a version of yourself that only exists in marketing brochures.